Hello horse friends, and welcome back to The Imperfect Question. On our last video about JJ napping, when I actually filmed that video, I did an awful lot of chatting as we had the ride out on that nice day. So rather than kind of clog up the video about napping, I thought I'd do a separate video just on the chatting, especially for those who like a hack and chat. So this video is purely the chat of the hack and chat. So do enjoy.
I kinda adore you, but don't get too proud. You're like my favorite snack, I won't say it out loud. I won't say you're perfect, we all know you're not. But hey, you're the best kind of way that I got.
So I just got in a quick session of tacking her up at Liberty and brushing her at Liberty beforehand again. Quite interesting, as I mentioned the other day, if I didn't have to scrap that piece, I may have had to scrap it if there was too much rain and you couldn't see anything whilst I was talking. But basically what she had been doing, good girl, walk on, is attacking Comanche for certain parts of me tacking her up, which is quite interesting. So it's kind of like she wants to leave, like she can't take pressure of me doing certain things, but instead of just going off and leaving, she attacks Comanche. poor Comanche. So that's quite an interesting trait. If anyone's got any ideas about what that is, do let me know, because it's not actually something I've really come across before. Whether it's a form of claustrophobia, because we are in the barn when she's doing this, and like I said, she can leave the barn. There is a little bit of hay up that they share between them, so it could be defensiveness for food as well. But it's just funny how it's been triggered by me doing the attacking up. So it's still particularly picking up the hoof on the front right side. She can pick up all the other hoofs, but she just gets a little bit like she needs to leave for picking up that hoof. And eventually, you know, I just keep kind of letting her come back and then asking again and letting her come back and asking again and giving her a treat when she does nearly right. And eventually she'll just stand there and let me do it. So I don't really think it's a big problem thing. It just seems to be... Oh, she's going to have a drink out the puddle. Just check there's no cars behind us. Just seems good girl, walk on. Some splashies. Having some splashies. Yeah, she's having a bit of a splash in the puddle. That's okay, as long as she doesn't decide to roll in it. Walk on. Walk on. It did feel a bit like she wanted to go down then, so let's go on. So yeah, for that hoof she does it. And then today she was much better for pulling the girth under. So the other day she was great when I pulled the girth under, but not so great when I first went to do the buckle. So it wasn't even that it was touching her anymore or anything like that, it was just the connection between the two. And today she did leave again to start with that, but then after that I kept just giving her a treat before she left, and she decided to stay around. So I think we kind of got over that one, and she was very good for that today. But yeah, no, it's really interesting behaviours from her. So I'm debating in my head, I think I mentioned before, but I don't know if I kept it in, that there's a possibility that we could go to a show jumping competition in a couple of weeks. And we are obviously not show jumpers. We've done like the odd little jump here and there at home, but nothing like a course or anything like that. But my friend said that they do ground poles, so they literally put all the jumps down to ground poles. So you know, you can only go wrong as in sorry, I thought it was a car coming, but there's not. You can only go wrong as in taking the wrong direction, not knocking any poles down or anything. Come on, walk on, good girl. And they also do like a really low cross-pole class, which I think is over 20 centimetres or 30 centimetres, something like that. So in other words, you know, they can literally trot over it and it wouldn't be too much bother for them. So we could have a go at those. I'm not sure whether it's a good idea to take her yet and just go down and see how she gets on, or if I really should just go along the first time like I did with a check and watch my friends do it. So I'm going to speak to the organisers a bit more about how it works and see if I can talk myself into it, because obviously that would be great. I don't know. Walk on. I don't know if we can film it or not, because I think even though it's not a proper BS event, I think there are rules about filming. But I think if it's for a non-profit, which at the minute I'm not a paid channel, then you are allowed to. And if it's also for personal learning, which obviously if I'm filming myself, I definitely try and learn something from it, then I might be able to get away with it. I'll have to ask someone when I'm down there. I definitely won't be able to take in camera with me, which is unfortunate, but I could probably get one of my friends, to film me from the side. Now, I know my friend's taking another friend as a groom, and never having been to a show jumping event, I'm not sure how important a groom is, to be fair. I'm hoping I can just get away with just taking her, just me. I think she might have to stay in the trailer until it's her class. I don't know if we're allowed to kind of go earlier, or if you're supposed to turn up just when it's time for your class. Literally know nothing about it at all. So I'm sure we'll do a lot of things wrong, but we do want to start getting out in the world more. We might possibly be looking for a cat. We've not really had a cat here because we live a bit near to the road, but we think, there's a lot of kind of mice and rats that they don't necessarily come in the house, but they get quite close, and we think it might be helpful. They're all in the barn and things like that, so round by the horse treats, and it might be helpful to have a cat just to kind of put them off coming anywhere near. So if we did, it's probably be kind of a farm cat more than a house cat. So I'm looking out for possibly getting a cat. I had some before. Pete had 2 when I met him, and they stuck around till they were quite a bit older. Unfortunately, one got run over. That was very sad. And then another one left us for cat paradise. It was literally a farm that was quite close to where we lived, and they had many cats. They used to rescue cats and things like that, and keep them, not rescue to rehome, but rescue to keep. And they had all cat fountains and cat scratchers and cat shelves. It was literally a cat paradise, and he decided to want to live there instead. We did take him home once, but he found his way back around to them. So, I did say if he went back and he wanted to stay, he could, because it was such a nice place, and I can understand why he'd want to live there. And at the time, we had a lot of dogs for showing, and every time he'd come in or go out, they'd chase him a bit. So, it was just a pain for him to come and go out of the house at the time. We had 3 more cats when we came to Wales, because we didn't have a cat when we moved to Wales, but when we came, we got 3 more cats, and I decided to try and home some feral cats. And what happened with them is we brought them back, and she says, keep them in your hay shed for 3 weeks, and then you can open the door. So we kept her in for 3 weeks. I went in every day, went and sat up there, fed them, tried to stroke them, but they were quite... No, JJ, good girl. They were still feral, as they are feral cats. One of them was a bit friendly, the female, but the 2 boys just like to hide in things and behind things. And it was surprising for such a small room with very little in there, how much they could actually hide. But yeah, as soon as we actually opened the door, they went, literally went, and we didn't really see the boys again. We saw them a couple of times. One went one way and one went the other. But yeah, they just left. But the girl stuck around for a bit. But unfortunately, very, very quickly, she got ill. And I did take her to the vet, but she passed away. I think it was probably like a cat flu or something. It was very snotty nose and stuff like that. And I'd been getting some treatment for her. But literally, what you've seen, JJ, something interesting? Good girl. Walk on. But literally, unfortunately, she had a seizure type thing, and when I took her to the vet, they said that she wasn't going to recover from it, so she had to be put to sleep. That was very sad. So I do want another cat. I'm a big fan of black cats, and those 3 feral ones were all black cats, 1 long coat and 2 short coat. But we'll see if we can find it. I think definitely more of a farm cat, because we don't really want it in the house as such because of the dogs, but we wanted to stick around and be a bit friendlier than a feral cat. So I'll be keeping my eyes open for any farm cats or kittens that become available. And hopefully it'll learn to be savvy enough not to go near the road. I mean, we're thinking of letting it shelter in the garage and workshop, so it'll be in part of the house, but just not the main part of the house. And we can put a cat flap on there to the back of the house, so it should leave and go into the fields rather than off onto the road. But you never know with a cat, do you? It's up to them where they go. This weekend we're off to a Dally rally, which is a Dalmatian event, and it's not really an organised one, but it's just a get together, and we're all going to Pembury Park. And it's most of the people that, because once a month I take my Dalmatian Dreamer to it's an indoor riding school where a lot of Dalmatians meet together. It's called Dotty Dallies, and we do lots of things like a bit of not quite agility, but that kind of thing, just for fun, and some obedience and anything we could think of, really, games, all sorts of things like that. And we have a lot of fun there, and most of the people from that group, and if anyone else wants to turn up, they will as well. They're going to turn up on the Sunday, and we're going to go walk around Pembury Park, which is a little bit parkland. There's some woodland there, and then it goes on to probably one of the biggest beaches I've ever seen, to be fair. When the tide's out, it literally goes for miles, and when the tide's in, it's very shallow. So we'll go down there. I think we're taking our Lakeland Terrier as well. I was a bit worried about taking him because there's going to be another Dalmatian that's a little bit worried about other dogs. Well, not worried, she kind of semi-attacks them. But they said it should be okay to take him as long as we're willing to walk off somewhere else if she's not getting on with him. It's very unlikely that I kept in the footage from the last ride of where I was saying what we're hoping to do this year. So we're hoping to possibly go to that show jumping thing, which I think is another winter series event as well, so that might only be one more or two more, something like that. We may, if I go to watch this time, we might not be able to go until next winter. We're hoping to go and explore the trek side of things more. I'm not sure if I can do the summer one where you go kind of orienteering on the field, but I did read somewhere that for lower levels you might be able to go out with a friend. So if there's two of us, I'll definitely give it a go. I'll feel confident enough to do that. But just orienteering around fields on my own and doing tasks as we go sounds like maybe a bit much for us at the minute. We're much more suited to doing the obstacles in an indoor course, which should be not till next winter. Hopefully we are going to go with our friends, the horse friends that we meet with Horsemanship West Wales, and have another play day in an arena. And I think I'm going to be leaving JJ for that one and kind of helping to guide people on the ground this time. There's a car coming, so we're just going to pop out of the way a minute. She's doing a lovely ride today, doing really well. Going to let her have some grass. Here comes a car. So what I'm thinking to do is to do some obstacles on the floor. Thank you. And take inspiration from the trek and the work and equitation obstacles as well as agility obstacles. So I've got and also just things we've done in Pirelli and things in the past. So, I've got lots of options of things that I can take inspiration from to make obstacles. And if I need to, we've only got a limited amount of equipment we can take with us. I'll probably fill my trailer with things I've got, and a couple of friends can take some extra poles. But we shall build something for the horses to go around, and I'll guide them online with things I think they can do. But obviously everyone's free to invent what they want to do themselves. And then I think whoever wants to mount up and ride can mount up and try and do the obstacles ridden. That'd be a good thing to do. And then for the afternoon, I was thinking of taking inspiration from the show jumping that I've mentioned, because obviously we're all very mixed ability. Some people are very experienced at stuff and others are not experienced at all. Like for instance, me and JJ are very, very green, although we're willing to give things a go. So what I might do is I've got 4 poles. I'm hoping my friend can take 4 poles, and we'll set up a ground pole jumping session for everybody, so we can run it a bit like a competition, and then people can choose to do it either online on the lead rope or ridden, or because we can take it in turns when we all go at one end and do it one at a time, we can probably do that element at Liberty as well, which would be quite interesting. So I'm looking forward to that. We should be doing that in March. Got an equine car boot coming up next week as well. There's quite a lot going on really at the minute. Obviously not everything's suitable for us. I'm away soon. I'll be judging the grooming competition at Crufts. I'm doing a pure breed scissor class. And unfortunately that means I miss a couple of events that are going on around here. No, you're not eating that one, walk on. That means I'll be missing a couple of interesting events that are going on in this area. There is a side saddle workshop where you can take your own horse and try out side saddle. They're bringing like a selection of side saddles to put on people's horses. I would love a go at that. However, I do feel that JJ would need to be a little bit better on our basic schooling, which we don't really have at the moment, before it would be safe for me to even attempt to side saddle, because she kind of needs to just have some basic manners in a school. Else we're going to be fighting two things at the same time. The fact that she doesn't really behave in a school because I've never taught her to, and also the fact that I'd be sideways and would only have one leg on one side and not much balance and things like that. And I don't think they're doing it on lead rein. I think they're presuming that your horse has some basic knowledge. Walk on, good girl, good girl. So much better that she's going forward tonight. I'll also unfortunately be missing, they're doing a judges training day for the trek, which I really would have liked to have gone along to, free for members, and I am a member now of the Red Kite Trek group. I joined the other day, and I believe what they're doing is literally teaching you how they judge the obstacles and different ways of doing the obstacles and things like that, something like that. And there's a classroom session in the morning, and in the afternoon they're having a practical session, and also they'll be teaching you how to judge the orienteering section. So I'd learned quite a lot about it by going, but that's the day I've got to travel to Crufts. So unfortunately I can maybe go do a couple of hours, but I don't know if that's worth doing that because I'll be missing so much information from the afternoon. So I did ask them if they will be doing another one, and they have said it's not planned, but if there is enough interest, then they will get another one going. It's nice actually to be able to get out for a ride today because it's Friday, and I got home relatively early. I think I was home for about 2:30. Might have been later than that actually. I think Pete said it was 20 to 3, and had time to walk the dogs around the field. I'm sure they're having their dinner about now, and then I'm just come out because I wanted to see how she was with being nappy today compared to the other day. I think I've probably told you the story before, but I had a cub once called Shogun, and I took him out. He was like a right brain introvert stroke extrovert, a little bit cuspy for both, and he was very well behaved, quite forward going, but he was brilliant with traffic, absolutely wonderful. And yet I took him out with a friend one day, and there's a road that we had to go down that ran adjacent to the motorway. Now that in itself didn't seem to be a problem, he was quite fine, but the problem came when there was like a big depot thing that had lots of lorries, and their regular routes that they took had been closed for some roadworks. So this kind of small road that we were going down, that would normally be quiet apart from the odd car and the motorway traffic that you could see kind of the other side of the fence, had lots and lots of big lorries coming down, and he had like a built-up tension where you could feel him getting tenser and tenser with every lorry. And I mean, they were like kind of every 20 seconds or so there was a lot of lorries coming down. And with the built-up tension, eventually he bolted because it all just became too much. And he was really good with traffic. So that's kind of what I worry about with JJ in that kind of tractor situation. Is I know she's good with a tractor. I know she can take it. But the repetition of it, I don't know, if she does feel some small amount of stress from them, then it could build up and we could end up in some sort of bad situation. So I'm quite wary of things like that. It was all okay on the day with my Cobb Shogun. We did end up galloping down the road, which wasn't good, but as soon as we found somewhere we could turn into, we turned into and bent him, and he stopped. And eventually my friend, who had her horse on a cart, so she couldn't exactly keep up with me very well, did catch up, and her horse thankfully was very, very sensible. We have seen a house that we like. Well, I say we've seen a house that we like, we haven't been to see it. In Write-Up it sounds lovely, but it would require us being able to port our mortgage, which is where you take your mortgage with you, which we have done previously, but last time we inquired, our mortgage company said they didn't want us to do that this time. So whether we could talk them into it or not, I don't know. And quite frankly, there's a lot of interest in this house, and we haven't even gone back on the market again at the moment, because we were going to put it on a couple of years ago now, but then of course we had the storm and the barn damage. We fixed the barn damage by kind of summer last year, and then obviously we didn't get it on in time then, and then the mud came and we're still in the mud session, so ideally we'd wait a little bit until spring. So chances of us really selling in time to get that place is probably minimal, but we have to leave these things with the fates and see, you know, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But it's a place that it's only got a small house. I believe it's a 2-bedroom house, and from the outside it looks very small, but when you read the writing, the rooms are a fairly reasonable size, quite good. But the actual place is a horse place. I think it's got 10 acres altogether. There's a little bit of woodland, a lot of fields, and they have a track system. And it's already set up, goes up to the woods, and they have an arena as well, an indoor sand barn, indoor sand barn, which is just for the horses to rest, things like a horse tunnel, things like that. So you know, that's all kind of cool. We'd love a place like that, and it's a pretty similar price to what we should sell our house for. So if we could port the mortgage, there's a chance it could be achievable, but if they won't let us port the mortgage, then it's quite far out of our reach. But who knows, one day, if not this time, then another time there will be something similar, or we could make something similar. It would be nice to get rid of the mortgage altogether, but I don't know, you have to say what do you classify as more important. Do you want to live in the place that you want to live now, or do you want to kind of go mortgage free and keep building up to it? Having a play to see if she can understand any neck craning yet, and the answer is no. But this is because we've not educated her like that. So I'm going to try and, what I'll try and do actually is forget the net reining. I'll try and use my leg to go a bit sideways. I think we are getting a little bit over. That's very good, JJ. Well done. Good girl. Let's try back the other way, see if we can do that. Swap sides with this in case I need some backup. Here we go again. Nope, nothing that way at all. So we need to work on our sideways so that she understands my feet at all. And I'm only trying this out because I saw that people were trying to steer one-handed for one of the trek competitions. I think I would have to kind of cheat a bit and kind of pull on the actual bit. But I will get her to that point. Comanche can do all, no reins. We just haven't had the arena experience really with JJ to be able to teach her all about what turning is with the body and with the legs. And it's a little bit hard to do in a restricted area like this. I can probably start to teach her a little bit to leg yield, is it? Where you just put your leg on and they go sideways, a little bit to go forward. So we can probably start to work on that a bit. Things we can do, when we're out, is see if she can learn to halt nicely. I think she's quite forward going for going home, but let's have a go and see if she can stop. A little bit drifty. I shall give her a sweetie for stopping. Come here. Okay. Went a little bit quicker than I'd like then. Perhaps we can work on having a bit more contact. I don't usually have any contact really, I just hold it soft. Let's see if she can. I mean, I've got some contact on and she's not bothering, she's still going forward, that must be good. Oh good, she went to stretch then and release a bit, so I'll let her do that. Good girl. We've not really done any contact work, so I don't want to put too much on her. Let's try again. A little bit of contact. I can't see if I'm affecting her head angle at all, but I can feel her a bit stronger, and then she's still walking forward the same, so that must be something. Good girl. I'm aware that you need to really bring them from the back end through, not just pull the head in. So got my leg on slightly. Good girl. There we are, and let go again. Well done, JJ. So there's some little things I can practice whilst I'm out and about. I'm not very well versed on schooling, so this is how I normally have her. So there's like touching her bit, and if she pulls through, it just kind of goes through with her like that, and then I'll just regather. But that's how I normally ride her, is, you know, enough tension that if I need to, I can hold and move it around somewhere, but not kind of having too much tension or pulling on the bit usually. Now, contact's a little bit more than that, isn't it? So let's try again. A bit shorter. Just kind of keep her moving forward. I've got my hands as quiet as I can. Soft, still going with her. She feels soft. She's got nose up a little bit. I can see from here it's not kind of rounding or relaxing down, but I've only got a little bit more contact than I would normally have, so good girl. Release it again. I'm sure it's probably supposed to be a much stronger contact for actually doing some schooling work, but never mind. Does anyone want to tell me any YouTube sites that you'd recommend for getting some basic schooling ideas whilst we're out hacking? Oh dear, what's that bird squeaking a lot, whatever it is? Don't know. Right, I'm going to have another little try at trot. Maybe we'll try with a tiny bit of contact as well. Let's see. Okay, ready? I don't know if this is actually enough contact, because obviously as soon as she started trotting, her neck shortened anyway, so it's probably a much looser contact than expected. Good girl. Good girl. Well done. Yeah, she's being like the perfect horsey at the minute. Loose rein, off we go into the wild. I can hear Comanche calling from home. Don't know if you can see from there, we just got a normal traditional mane in today. We've got the morning stripe, it's called, isn't it? Where they've got the black stripe about an inch higher than the white. There's a little bit of stunted growth in places from where we had trimmed it last time, but it's basically the right shape. I'm enjoying that at the moment. I've had some ideas. I saw a girl do a bow tie on her horse, and that made me also think about doing things like bows and butterflies and all sorts of things along those lines. I think JJ's girth actually went up one more hole today, so she's finally perhaps losing a little bit of weight. She's not got that grass bloat, but that doesn't really affect the the girth, whether she's grass bloated or not. You know, like when you put them out on some fresh grass and then they come in looking pregnant. She hasn't got that at the minute, but she's still got a podgy belly. She's always cresty, but that's just how she is. Even when she was slimlined, she's cresty. And of course the mane enhances that anyway. Good girl. Good girl. Okay.
Well, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed our little natter. We'll see you again next time. Bye.